Hey guys, it's Darcy here and my puppy Panda. I'm going to be talking about autism in this video. If you're wondering how the autistic experience is like, or if you can relate to, or if you think you may be autistic, yeah, I got diagnosed with level 1 and I have ADHD. This is how it impacts my life. And just remember that autism, it's a spectrum. It impacts everyone differently. They all have their own experiences, and also it is different in women and men. So keep that in mind. I feel emotions at a very high, hyper level. So I understand my own and I understand other people's emotions, and I'm extremely empathetic. But even with that being so, I have trouble fully connecting with people. It always kind of feels like there's glass in between me and others. Even those that I've known, I have some loved ones that I've known for years, and they know pretty much everything about me. We have lots of memories together. I love them so dearly, but I still don't feel like I fully can connect. Girl! She's sassing me right now. Where was I? When I get distracted, that's no good. Connecting to people. Okay. Yeah, that's something I had trouble doing, which is usually a part of it. That happens to some people that are on the spectrum. I don't really understand it. It just kind of makes me feel like I'm an alien trying to talk to humans. And I know that sounds kind of out there, but I'm just trying to think of a way to describe it. It's like conversations feel unnatural to me. Even right now, talking to the camera, it's just feels kind of forced, it feels kind of robotic. Yeah, I kind of just, when I'm talking, it kind of feels robotic, is how I would describe it. But yet, everything I'm saying is honest. So I can be fully vulnerable with someone, and they can see me at all extremes. Like, they can see me at my low or crying or whatever, and I could tell them why I'm crying. And I still don't feel like I can connect, and that's kind of tragic in a way. But maybe one day that glass might be broken. I always wonder if there's going to be a person that I'll meet one day and I'll just not feel like there's a wall between me and that individual. But yeah, that's how I would describe it. It's kind of odd to put into words. Also, I do have trouble with, I don't know if you've noticed in my past videos, it's something I'm trying to work on, especially for YouTube. Sometimes I have trouble, my words in my brain and coming out of my mouth. Sometimes I can kind of talk slow or gaps in between. What's kind of ironic about this is that when it comes to writing, that's why I write poetry, that's when I do feel like I can connect to people, which doesn't always make sense, but it's like when the words are in my brain, they don't always want to properly come out of my mouth, but yet when it's on paper, then I can fully translate it. So if I was trying to express something very, I don't know, personal or intimate to someone, I could do it in a poem. But if it's coming out of my mouth, it's not going to feel the same. If that makes sense, I can kind of really talk in a poetic way on paper, and I communicate, I think, the best through poetry, which doesn't always make sense to people because I have gotten from others have told me that I communicate clearly, I communicate fine. And I think that's because I have studied psychology so much. I have studied communication. I have practiced it. And I do understand my emotions and others. So I think that's why I kind of can come across as very communicative. But even though I'm doing it, it still feels unnatural and it still feels like a robot. And when I'm with others, I have to constantly check in with myself and say, hey, make eye contact, because I tend not to make eye contact. So I have to check in with that. Or I'm thinking, okay, sit up straight, make eye contact, wait till they finish talking, and then you talk, nod your head. Like, it's very kind of rehearsed, and it's just, otherwise I can just not make eye contact, get kind of lost, not pay attention, and just kind of fade out of a conversation. Even if someone's talking to me, I can just just like walk away. So I have to be very like on it to conversate normally. But I think I've practiced so much that to others it kind of looks like you're not autistic. So many people have told me that you're not autistic, but what they don't realize is all of the build up and lead up to have these conversations with people. The way I would describe this is it's like my spirit loves people, and I crave people and excitement and being where everyone's at and adventure, but my nervous system is kind of more the opposite and is like people, conversations, overstimulation. I don't understand it. This is draining. Kind of sees it as a threat. So it's this interesting dynamic of a push and a pull within myself, within like what I want to do, but what my body wants to do. So it's kind of, I just really have to find balance in my life extremely. And when I go meet up with others, or even if I'm just running errands, it can be exhausting. Simple conversations can be exhausting to me because it takes a lot more effort. I have to think, I have to be more alert, I have to be more on it. I have to show up more, otherwise I don't want to talk to people. And even though I do, but maybe it's that I don't really know how. I don't understand it because I've practiced it, but that's kind of a part of being on the spectrum for some people. I've heard this. And even just overstimulation, if I go somewhere, I'm not even talking to someone, if I get too overstimulated, it feels like I'm suffocating. It's just you take in everything at once, and it's just like, it's like you can't breathe. And it gets so overwhelming that it makes me just want to curl up in a ball. And it's complicated to describe. I almost feel like I'm getting squished, and then that kind of puts me in autopilot mode. And if I'm overstimulated and then people are trying to talk to me, it's just too much. And my friend described it to me as someone that is on the spectrum. Their brain is wired differently, you feel differently, you experience the world differently, which it can be a beautiful thing, but it can give you some struggles and challenges. And because of that, my nervous system is more heightened. It's more amplified. All my senses are more amplified. And when you walk into a place, you take in more, and your brain doesn't filter it out like how the average brain may, or a neurotypical brain. So I have a neurodivergent brain because I'm autistic, but it's neurotypical and neurodivergent. And people that are neurodivergent, they filter life differently, your brain. So when you walk into a room, your brain is automatically taking note of the surroundings. And mine just kind of sucks it all in at once, and it's just like, ugh. And yes, I do breathing techniques. I have been doing a long list of techniques. That's why I got diagnosed with this, because I have tried so many things, and it's just, I still have the same troubles, and that's just because my brain is a little bit different, and that's okay. I get flustered easy, overwhelmed easy. That's all part of overstimulation. I can panic, working on it. Eye contact is something that I struggle with, but I have worked on it, but so much to the point where sometimes people will tell me, you have really intense eye contact. As I probably do that with the camera too, is I've practiced eye contact so much that I can kind of stare someone down without meaning to. And sometimes I have to like tell myself, remember to blink. Because sometimes I'll just be like, and I won't be blinking and I look kind of psycho. But now it's gotten to the point where I do pretty decent with eye contact, but it can be a little intense. But yeah, it's conversating, it's connecting with others, the heightened emotions, overstimulation. What really helps is to have these little earplugs with me. I always carry earplugs and earphones with me places, because sometimes I can't. I need it. But I like how these allow me to still hear, because in public I want to still be able to hear, but these are obviously for music. And got my headphones. These help me a lot. Music calms me down immediately. I think that's why I've always been in love with music ever since I was little. Music has been a way that it calms me down. It regulates my nervous system like that. And dancing. Music and dancing are two things that I do daily throughout the day and night. I will full on break out in ballet in the middle of the kitchen. I dance hip hop, ballet, all kinds of different dance maneuvers. I realize now it's probably a stim. That's why I've always been twirly and trying to kick my leg and do kicks and all that kind of stuff. Probably because I'm stimming and I'm just regulating my nervous system, because I do it all the time. Even when I'm in public, I'll just start dancing when I'm with my friends, or I'll do a little twirl or a little hand thing. And I'm just stimming, and now I understand why. Which is stimming is, it soothes your nervous system, it calms you down. When I allow myself to just move, it kind of regulates it. In terms of ADHD, I think that's maybe a part of it too. I don't know. I get distracted easy and I have trouble focusing sometimes. Let me show you my toys. My little fidget toys. They're not showing in the camera. Here we go. Look at this tray. This tray of delight. I love squishy things. They help me. I cannot tell you how much. Oh. And my little shark. I love my little shark. So basically, when I go places now, I bring usually one or two. And when I'm talking to people, this will be in my hand or on my lap. And it helps me. It really does. Yeah. Trying to think what else I do. When I get nervous, I sing, talk. I love routines, which is, like I said, I crave adventure and traveling, but I get so dysregulated when I travel. I have food sensitivities, which is also a struggle when I travel. I'm figuring out accommodations. I think that's the way now that I understand what's happening. Accommodations, compassion for myself, and just kind of taking little steps forward and working on certain things. And I really feel it's helping by having headphones, a little fidget toy, learning to find balance in my life. But I can get very routine dependent, and when I get off my routine, I can get very dysregulated. So I'm trying to work on that because I really want to start traveling more and not get dysregulated to the point where I throw up. Because yes, sometimes that happens when I travel. I get so dysregulated that I puke. So I'm trying to allow my nervous system to not be in so much distress. But I meditate, I breathe, I do grounding, I go in nature, I'm trying, I work on my diet, eat healthy, whole foods, and yeah, I think positivity and trying to navigate life in a way that's healthiest for your nervous system is all that you can do, and know that the brain is adaptive and you can make new wiring, you can rewire your mind, but at the same time, my brain is my brain, and I don't want to change it to the point where I'm not even me anymore. My brain is a little bit different. I can rewire it, but there is an extent, because obviously this is me. And in general, I don't want to change it entirely, because that would be changing me and who I am and my passions and how I see life. So I have to focus on the glimmer side of it, because on a flip, I do love the way I see and feel. Because I have heightened emotions, I'm able to really be in tune with myself and others. And when I go in nature, I notice the small details. I notice the little things, and I feel so heavily. I think that's honestly my radar, is I miss social cues, but I feel. I'm really sensitive to energy. I can tell when their demeanor changes. So I'm really sensitive to when people's demeanor and their tone changes, I guess you could say. Obviously, it's not bulletproof. Sometimes people be lying, but I'm just using that as an example. Is I'm sensitive to changes within people, and that's kind of how I navigate life, is I try to trust my intuition of, oh, this person kind of, the way they're talking, I don't think they're telling the truth. Oh, this person I can tell seems very insecure right now. This person seems like they're about to cry. I can kind of navigate that, and then when they're joyful, I go, this person is just really filled with light. They feel very safe. It's strange. I can kind of gauge the world through energy versus social cues, because I cannot tell you how many times I've missed social cues, especially flirting. I am not very good at flirting, or knowing when someone's flirting with me, and I usually get nervous and I start babbling, or I walk away, because I don't really understand flirting dynamic. Like, it just doesn't, certain things just don't click in my mind. I just don't get it. And my friends will have to be like, hey, he's flirting with you, hey, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, what? No, or he's just my friend. He doesn't like me like that. And then my friends will have to give me a whole rewind of, yes, he does like you. Yes, 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 yes. And then I'm like, oh, that makes sense. You are being awfully loud right now, little girl. She just sassed me. She's been sassy lately. What else? Sunglasses. What's on my head right now? I wear them in the store sometimes. Helps with the stimulation. Restaurants are really difficult for me because the smells are strong and all the noise and the food sensitivities. There are certain aspects of my life. I know I'm kind of all over the place in this video, but I'm just trying to think of my own experience. I can't sit still for long, and I do make noises sometimes. I make all kinds of noises, and I love doing impersonations and accents and talking like I'm hundreds of years ago. I do that to people. I will get super spastic. I get the zoomies all the time. Zoomies all the time. Sometimes if I'm at the beach with my friends, I'll just say, I gotta roll in the sand. I'll start rolling in the sand down a hill. I'll just keep going. I'll get the zooms. Very hyper. Because of the nervous system sensitivity, I'm always sensory seeking. I love to skateboard and surf, kick my soccer ball. I mentioned dance. I like to do things that move my body that kind of feel like I'm flying in a way. It just centers me. Otherwise, I can get really anxious and fidgety. It's kind of the combination of the autism and the ADHD. I feel like they're kind of opposites, and they also kind of push and pull at each other as well. Because with my autism, it does make me really hyper fixate on something and just become consumed in it. But then with the ADHD, it's like ping pong, all over the place. Let's go here, let's go here. It's always like a bunch of different, let's do this. And then when I'm there, I'm always just all over the place. But at the same time, I want routine, and I'm just wanting routine. And it's very ironic. It's just ironic. There's a lot of back and forth with me, and it's funny in my brain. It's kind of fun in there. It's never boring. That's why it's like I wouldn't want to change in my brain, because it's very entertaining. I daydream all the time. I'm always imagining, and because of that is why I write lots of poetry too, and I write little stories, because I'm always imagining and in my own little fantasy bubble sometimes. Looking at this as a whole, it created me growing up, especially by the time I was a teenager, to have high anxiety, very anxious. It kind of led me to be a bit of a perfectionist because I didn't understand what was going on with me. Now that I know, I'm able to navigate life differently and have acceptance. But before I found out, I was trying to fit a mold that I wasn't. So I was trying to operate in a totally different manner, and trying to fit in was very distressing on my nervous system. And because of that, that grew and bled into being a people pleaser. And it grew into unhealthy tendencies for me, because I was trying so hard to just be like those around me that it just kind of made me lose my identity, really. And now I'm not going to allow that to happen, but that's why I do have so much for my younger self, because I didn't understand that what was happening to me, the way that I was seeing the world. That's why I struggled to keep up with others and my peers, and especially in school, I'd have to go in early in the morning and stay after, and just the fast pace of the world, it didn't work with me. It didn't make sense with me. The world felt too fast for me, and it put me in distress and anxiety, and that just expanded. The one thing and advice I would say is that if you are on the spectrum and you still struggle with certain factors in terms of maybe being a bit naive or gullible, because even though I am sensitive to energy, I did used to be pretty naive and gullible when I was a teenager because I missed certain cues. So I would advise you to honestly study manipulation tactics. Study more of the not pure intention side of psychology. Please do not do it to people. Please do not become an abuser. That's not what I'm saying. But you need to learn to have the awareness. That way you can tell if someone is trying to manipulate you. Because after I studied it, and with my therapist, she helped give me this whole lesson about more of the darker side of humanity. It was like a light bulb. It helped me. So I would advise you, if you're struggling with that, even in general, to do so. Because now when people are doing certain words or actions, I can, like a red light goes off in my mind, and I've learned about this. I see the pattern. I know what you're trying to do here. Like gaslighting, manipulation. Do your research on, because at least for me, even though I was sensitive to energy, I still was a bit naive and gullible, because certain things went past me that the average person may pick up on, but I didn't, because it literally didn't transcribe to pick up on it. So I advise you, as a safety precaution, is just learn some, do some research. That way you have some wisdom. But please don't do that to people. Do not become. I'm looking forward to just really having acceptance for myself and saying, hey, you don't have to fit everyone's timeline. You don't have to fit everyone's mold. And if you are neurodivergent, your brain is a little bit different, and that's unique. And you have to figure out what works for you. And growing up, I used to feel broken. I used to feel like there was something wrong with me. I remember always saying, I wish I was normal. And now I don't. But it's not to lie to say that there are some challenges that sometimes don't seem fair. Certain things that are really easy for others to do are really difficult for me. And that can be frustrating, but I'm trying to work through it. And that is my autistic ADHD experience. If you can relate. What? Couple little fun facts. Things that soothe me is nature. And I mentioned how I love how I can notice the little details in nature. Nature is a soothing for me. Being around animals, she almost just knocked the whole entire thing down. Maybe I've always felt comfort in animals because they don't talk. They talk in their own little animal lingo. But yeah, it's like nature and animals and movement, and really balancing how much I allow myself to. I almost stepped on her. Allowing myself to really balance my life and make sure that I socialize, but also be aware of my social battery. And with that being said, that's pretty much how I navigate life, being on the spectrum. Anyways, okay, you guys have a wonderful day, and until next time, bye-bye for now.